Imagine this. You're at a crucial moment in your life, filled with doubts, and suddenly a book falls off the shelf in a bookstore, open exactly to the page that answers your question. Or you hear a random phrase on the street that feels like it was said just for you, at that very moment. Coincidence? Maybe. But Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, called this synchronicity, events that seem random, but carry a deeper meaning. These moments aren't just random. They could be messages from the universe, trying to guide you toward something greater. And the most fascinating part? You can learn to recognize these signs, understand what they mean, and best of all, attract more of them into your life. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to turn these synchronicities into a compass for important decisions, and how to use them to connect with the invisible flow that links everything. Get ready to see the world in a completely new way. Synchronicity isn't a new concept. It's been present in philosophy, spirituality, and even science for centuries. But it was Carl Jung who gave a modern and structured definition to this phenomenon. Jung started noticing that many of his patients reported striking coincidences that seemed to have a profound personal meaning. Instead of dismissing them as mere chance, he investigated further and concluded that these events were manifestations of something greater, the collective unconscious. He described synchronicity as the simultaneity of two events that are connected by meaning, but not causally. This means that, although there's no direct cause and effect relationship, there's a deep meaning linking these experiences. But Jung wasn't the only one exploring this mystery. Various ancient spiritual traditions had already recognized this phenomenon under different names. In the East, for example, the concept of karma and the idea that nothing happens by chance reflect this same understanding. In Hermeticism, there's the law of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. This principle suggests that our mind and the universe are interconnected, and that external signs can reflect internal states. Additionally, physicists like Wolfgang Pauli, Nobel Prize winner, and Jung's friend, also became interested in synchronicity. Pauli believed that quantum mechanics might offer clues about how causally unrelated events could somehow be connected. Whether in psychology, spirituality, or science, the idea that certain coincidences carry a greater purpose has fascinated humanity for centuries. But how can you tell the difference between trivial coincidences and true synchronicities? That's what we're going to explore now. Not every coincidence is a synchronicity. To recognize when an event holds a deeper meaning, it's essential to understand the difference between simple chance and a genuine sign from the universe. The first sign that something might be a synchronicity is the emotional impact. When an event makes you stop and reflect, when it triggers a feeling of, this can't just be a coincidence, it's a strong indicator that something more is happening. For example, you're thinking about changing careers, and suddenly you start noticing signs everywhere. A friend mentions exactly the area you're considering. A book about the topic accidentally appears in front of you, or a stranger brings it up in a random conversation. Another factor is repetition. If the same number, word, symbol, or message keeps popping up repeatedly in a short period of time, pay attention. Many spiritual traditions believe that the universe communicates through patterns. The famous angel numbers, like 1111 or 333, are an example of this. People who experience synchronicities often report seeing repetitive numbers on clocks, license plates, or receipts. Not every coincidence is a synchronicity. To recognize when an event has a deeper meaning, it's essential to understand the difference between simple chance and a true sign from the universe. The first clue that something might be a synchronicity is the emotional impact. When an event makes you stop and reflect, when it triggers a feeling of, this can't just be a coincidence, it's a strong sign that something more is going on. For example, you're thinking about changing careers and suddenly start seeing signs everywhere. A friend mentions exactly the area you're considering, a book about the topic accidentally appears in front of you, or a stranger brings it up in a random conversation. Another factor is repetition. If the same number, word, symbol, or message shows up several times in a short period, Pay attention. Many spiritual traditions believe that the universe communicates through patterns. The famous angel numbers, like 1111 or 333, are an example of this. People who experience synchronicities often report seeing repetitive numbers on clocks, license plates, or receipts. Also, context and timing are crucial. A coincidence might just be random if it doesn't hold any relevance to your life at the moment. But if it happens right when you're searching for an answer or going through a transition, it's more likely to be a synchronicity. A classic example. You're uncertain about accepting a job opportunity, and when you turn on the radio, the song that plays seems to answer your question directly. But can everyone notice these signs? The answer is no. Often we're so distracted by our routines that we miss the universe's messages. That's where intuition comes in. Intuition is the key to noticing and interpreting synchronicities in your life. While the rational mind looks for logic and predictability, intuition picks up on subtle patterns and hidden messages that reason often overlooks. But how do you strengthen this perception? The first step is to develop a state of mindfulness. Many people go through their days on autopilot, not truly noticing what's happening around them. Small signs slip by unnoticed because the mind is too busy with worries, distractions, and external noise. Practicing mindfulness helps slow you down and be present in the moment, allowing you to notice patterns and messages you would have otherwise missed. Another powerful technique is intuitive writing. Take a few minutes each day to jot down random thoughts, sensations, and coincidences that catch your attention. Often, when you reread these notes after a few days, patterns start to emerge, revealing deep insights about your journey. Also, paying attention to your body is essential. Intuition often shows up as subtle physical sensations, an unexpected chill, a flutter in your stomach, a tightness in your chest, or even an inexplicable sense of knowing something before it happens. These are ways your unconscious is communicating with you. And there are also dreams. Jung believed that dreams are a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, and that many synchronicities begin to manifest first in the dream world. If you repeatedly dream about a specific symbol or person, and days later, that element appears in real life, it might be a sign that something bigger is at play. The more you trust your intuition and make space for subtle perception, the more synchronicities will begin to show up. Since ancient times, different spiritual traditions have recognized the phenomenon of synchronicities, though they called it by other names. For many cultures, significant coincidences aren't just random events, but rather messages from the universe, spiritual guides, or even your higher self trying to communicate. In Buddhism and Hinduism, the idea of universal interconnectedness is a fundamental principle. The concept of karma suggests that everything that happens has a reason and is linked to previous causes, even if those connections aren't immediately visible. In Taoism, the principle of Wu Wei, which can be translated as action without effort, teaches that when we are aligned with the natural flow of the universe, events occur in a synchronized and fluid manner. Shamanic traditions have always placed great importance on signs from nature. For shamans, repeatedly encountering a specific animal, seeing recurring patterns in the clouds, or hearing a certain type of sound at the right moment isn't a coincidence, but a spiritual calling. They believe that the invisible world communicates through these symbols, guiding us on our journey. In Christianity, there are accounts of miraculous events and coincidences that change the course of entire lives. Many people report asking God for a sign, and shortly after, receiving an unexpected response through a message, a meeting, or even a dream. In Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah, there's the concept of Hashgacha Pratit, which means divine providence, the belief that nothing happens by chance and that God orchestrates events to deliver messages to those who are attentive. What all these traditions have in common is the idea that the universe isn't chaotic and random, but rather an interconnected system where each piece has a purpose. What if synchronicities are more than just simple coincidences and are actually pointing directly to your life's purpose? Many people report that moments of major transition, whether a career change, a new relationship, or a spiritual journey, were preceded by a series of synchronic events that seem to guide them onto the right path. These signs can appear in many forms, repeatedly encountering people who talk about a specific topic, receiving unexpected opportunities, or even feeling a strong inner calling to go in a new direction. The problem is that most people ignore these signs or doubt their importance, insisting on following a path that seems safe but isn't aligned with their true essence. Jung believed that synchronicity was a manifestation of the process of individuation, meaning the path each person needs to walk to become who they truly are. If you're experiencing many synchronicities around the same theme, it might be a sign that this area of your life deserves more attention. But how can you tell if a synchronicity is truly pointing to your purpose? A simple exercise is to ask the universe questions and observe the answers. Try writing in a notebook something like, "What is my true path?" or "Am I on the right track?" In the following days, stay alert to the signs. A random conversation, a book that appears out of nowhere, a phrase that seems to answer your exact question. Another powerful exercise is to reflect on what themes and experiences bring recurring synchronicities into your life. If the same topic, idea, or opportunity keeps showing up, it could be a sign for you to explore it more deeply. Science has been investigating synchronicities for decades, and some findings might surprise you. Cognitive psychology suggests that the human brain is constantly searching for patterns and connections in the environment, a phenomenon known as apophenia, the tendency to perceive meaning where apparently there is none. Additionally, the emerging field of neuroscience of intuition has shown that the brain can pick up subconscious information from the environment before the rational mind is even aware of it. Studies have found that intuitive decisions can be based on real patterns the brain records without us being consciously aware of them. This could explain why some people seem to feel or predict synchronic events before they happen. If synchronicities really reflect an alignment between what we think and what we experience, what's the relationship between this phenomenon and the law of attraction? Many people believe that synchronicity is, in fact, a reflection of our own energy field interacting with the universe, attracting experiences that align with our emotions, beliefs, and intentions. The law of attraction posits that what we focus on expands. If you're constantly vibrating at a frequency of doubt and fear, you'll tend to attract more situations that reinforce those emotions. On the other hand, when you raise your energy with gratitude, enthusiasm, and confidence, positive events begin to align in surprising ways, and that's when synchronicities become more frequent. Joe Dispenza, a renowned researcher on the power of the mind, explains that the combination of clear thought plus elevated emotion creates an ideal state for new realities to manifest. In other words, when you have a clear desire and feel, with intensity, that it's already real, the universe responds with synchronic events that seem magically to confirm your path. This would explain why some people seem to experience synchronicities constantly, while others don't. Those who are aligned with their true essence and live in a state of presence and gratitude tend to notice more signs and opportunities. Meanwhile, those who live in mental chaos and disbelief often block these experiences, ignoring the signs around them. If synchronicities are signs from the universe, it makes sense that we could create conditions for them to occur more frequently. There are practices that help tune your mind and energy to attract these events more intensely. The first step is to develop a receptive mindset. Many people go through life ignoring small coincidences that could be important messages. To change this, start paying attention. A simple exercise is to keep a synchronicity journal, writing down all the unusual events that happen in your day-to-day life. It could be in your phone's notes or post-its around the house. This trains your brain to recognize patterns and become more aware of the signs around you. Meditation is also a powerful tool. Studies show that meditation strengthens the connection between the conscious and unconscious, allowing you to perceive subtle information that would normally go unnoticed. Additionally, being in a state of full presence increases sensitivity to synchronic events. Another effective technique is to set clear intentions. Before going to sleep or right after waking up, ask the universe something like, What's the next step on my path? Throughout the day, stay alert to conversations, symbols, songs, and unexpected events. The answers might come in the most unexpected forms. Practicing gratitude also amplifies the occurrence of synchronicities. Gratitude raises your vibration and puts you in alignment with the flow of the universe. The more you recognize and appreciate the small synchronicities, the more of them start to appear. That's why I created the Quantum Thinking Challenge. In 21 days, you'll reprogram your mind, raise your vibration, and unlock your full energetic potential, becoming completely open to life's synchronicities. You can find the access link in the first pinned comment. Lastly, trust the process. The biggest mistake people make is doubting the signs or trying to force synchronicities. This phenomenon happens naturally when you're open and flowing with life, without the need for excessive control. Now that we know how to stimulate these experiences, let's take a look at some real-life stories of remarkable synchronicities that changed lives. You'll see how these events can be transformative and guide people down unexpected paths. One of the most famous synchronicities involves the writer Paulo Coelho. Before becoming a world-renowned author, he received a series of signs that led him to write The Alchemist. Coelho shares that, during a period of intense spiritual search, he repeatedly encountered symbols and messages about following his true purpose. One day, while talking to a stranger who mentioned exactly the central idea of the book, he realized he couldn't ignore that call. The result was a work that transformed millions of lives. Another impressive example is that of a man who, after losing a loved one, began seeing a specific blue butterfly repeatedly. What's interesting is that this butterfly had a special meaning for both him and the deceased person. Months later, at a decisive moment in his life, he encountered the same butterfly in an unusual situation, which gave him the clarity needed to make a major decision. When we start paying attention, we realize that reality is constantly sending us messages. But there's one important detail. The more open we are to recognizing these experiences, the more they happen. People who train their perception and learn to trust these signs end up experiencing more frequent and intense synchronicities. Noticing synchronicities is just the first step. The true power of this phenomenon lies in correctly interpreting the messages the universe is sending. But how do we do that? The key lies in personal symbolism. Every person has a unique language with the universe, and signs often appear in ways that make sense to you. So, whenever a synchronicity happens, ask yourself, what does this event mean to me? What's the first feeling or thought it brings up? Often, the answer comes intuitively. Another powerful method is the association of ideas. For example, if you repeatedly see a specific animal, you could look up its spiritual meaning. Many traditions believe that each animal carries a symbolic message. A butterfly might indicate transformation. A raven could symbolize mystery and wisdom, and so on. The same applies to numbers, colors, songs, and even words that pop up unexpectedly. Remember, the universe doesn't send useless messages. If something grabs your attention intensely, don't ignore it. Trust your intuition. The subconscious mind plays a crucial role in the manifestation of the synchronicities we experience. While many people believe these events are just external signs from the universe, the truth is that they can be direct reflections of what's stored in our deeper beliefs and patterns. The subconscious is responsible for over 90% of our thoughts, emotions, and decisions. It works like a massive database, recording everything we've ever experienced, from childhood events to beliefs acquired throughout life. What few people realize is that this internal content can strongly influence the events we attract. For example, if you have a deep desire to change careers but internally carry fears and insecurities about it, your subconscious mind might start looking for external signs that confirm or challenge that idea. As a result, you may begin noticing more synchronicities related to new job opportunities, unexpected conversations about the topic, or even randomly finding a book that answers exactly your doubts. This happens because the subconscious filters reality based on what it believes is relevant to you. This phenomenon is known as the reticular activating system, a neural network in the brain that works like a radar, highlighting information that aligns with your most frequent thoughts and emotions. If you begin constantly thinking about a number, a word, or a concept, this system will increase your awareness of that element in the external world, creating a sense that the universe is sending signs. So, how can we reprogram the subconscious to attract more positive synchronicities aligned with our goals? A powerful technique is visualization. When you repeatedly imagine a desired reality, your subconscious begins to treat it as something possible and tangible. As a result, you'll start noticing more signs and opportunities related to that vision. Another effective strategy is using positive affirmations. If you want to create synchronicities that lead you to success, for example, repeat phrases like, "I am open to the signs from the universe that guide me to my best self," or "Positive synchronicities surround me at all times." Synchronicities are typically seen as individual experiences, events that seem like personalized messages for each person. But what happens when these signs don't appear just for one individual, but for entire groups, societies, or even the world as a whole? This phenomenon is known as collective synchronicity, and it can have profound implications about how human consciousness is interconnected. Carl Jung theorized that, beyond the individual unconscious, there exists a collective unconscious, a psychic layer shared by all of humanity, where archetypes, symbols, and universal experiences reside. Therefore, it's possible that certain synchronicities manifest simultaneously for many people, reflecting deep patterns that emerge in society at specific moments in history. A classic example of collective synchronicity can be seen in the discovery of inventions. Often, innovations arise at the same time in different parts of the world, without the inventors having any contact with each other. The telephone, for example, was patented by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876, but another scientist, Elisha Gray, filed a virtually identical patent on the same day. A similar thing happened with the theory of evolution, which was independently developed by Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace. These coincidences suggest that ideas may emerge synchronously when humanity is ready to receive them. Another curious phenomenon is the collective premonition before major events. Many people reported having strange dreams and feelings of unease before the 9/11 attacks in 2001. Similarly, scientists from the Global Consciousness Project noticed significant changes in devices that measure fluctuations in global consciousness just before tragedies and major events in the world. If human consciousness is interconnected, this means that collective emotions and intentions can shape reality in a synchronized way. This could explain, for example, why certain ideas, trends, and cultural movements seem to emerge spontaneously in various parts of the world at the same time. Additionally, this theory reinforces the importance of cultivating positive thoughts and energies on a collective level. If many people are focused on fear and chaos, it's possible that these emotions will be reflected in the external world. On the other hand, when a large number of individuals raise their vibration through gratitude, compassion, and love, more positive events may arise, creating a kind of domino effect of synchronicity in society. After identifying a sequence of synchronicities and feeling that they're pointing toward a particular path, the most important moment arrives: making a decision. But how can you be sure that this choice is truly aligned with the flow of the universe and isn't just a personal desire projected onto the signs? The answer lies in observing the responses the universe continues to send after your decision. Many people believe the signs stop when a choice is made, but in reality, what happens is the opposite. The synchronicities can intensify or completely disappear, depending on how aligned the decision is with your true path. If, after heading in a certain direction, you start noticing a series of positive events, opportunities appearing easily, unexpected encounters that reinforce your choice, or a growing sense of enthusiasm and flow, that's a strong sign that your decision is aligned with the natural flow of life. The universe responds with an open path, showing that you're heading in the right direction. On the other hand, if after making a decision you start encountering excessive resistance, unexpected blockages, and warning signs, it could be an indication that it's time to reevaluate your path. This doesn't mean that any difficulty is a sign that you're on the wrong path, but rather that you need to recognize the pattern, Occasional obstacles are part of growth, but if things start going wrong repeatedly and you feel an increasing emotional weight, it might be the universe telling you, adjust your course. A simple exercise to test this is to ask the universe for confirmation. If you're unsure about the decision you've made, you can ask a clear question, such as, if this decision is aligned with my purpose, send me a clear sign in the next few days. Then, let go of the need to control and just observe. If in the following days, the synchronicities continue to show up, reinforcing your decision, move forward with confidence. If, on the other hand, there's complete silence or signs of resistance, it may be time to reflect more deeply. Another important aspect is how you feel internally after making the decision. Even if your rational mind tries to justify a path, your body and emotions will always give clues about whether it was the right choice. Do you feel light, energized, and confident? Or do you feel heavy, insecure, and overwhelmed by persistent fear? Your emotional vibration is one of the most accurate indicators of the coherence of your decision. In the end, synchronicities aren't a manual of instructions, but rather a dialogue with the universe. The more aware you are, the better you'll be at interpreting the answers and following a path that's truly aligned with your essence.